To all my fire people, have you ever wondered what it really would be like to live outside of the norm, to break free and live life on your own terms, to have the freedom, pursue your dreams, to spend more time with your loved one, create a life purpose of fulfillment? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be getting into today, because that's what happened to me when I achieved fire. And so it wasn't just about the financial aspects, but it was about transformational process that happened on the journey. So I'm going to teach you lessons today that actually helped me, that were actually quite surprising to me after I achieved fire, that I needed to do and changes I needed to make to enjoy my journey. So let's get into it. So my name is Keanon Slade, and I have successfully achieved fire. So I have achieved financial independence, retired early, and I live here in sunny Costa Rica. And so if you're looking to do that type of life change, whether it's Costa Rica or another place, then I'm a life coach that helps good guys find a great life outside the US. So let's get into today's topic. So the first thing that you should realize, when I thought about, fire and retiring early, my dream was, I'm just gonna, sit on the beach. I'm just gonna go to different volcanoes. I'm gonna, enjoy the summer thing. I'm not gonna do anything, nothing I want to do. I have a maid. The cooking is already done. The cleaning is done. It's just gonna do what I want to do. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not even gonna look at my budget. That's a mistake. I don't do that. And so I ended up living essentially my first year here in Costa Rica, like just chilling. I didn't really overexert myself. I didn't do much. Now, given, the way that I got here stressed, I kind of like crawl over the finish line, if you will. Like, I made it, working so hard and stressing and, my body taking. So I probably did need a few months of just relaxation. But after that, I found that I didn't find enjoyment, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't, why I wasn't there. And I didn't have a purpose. I just was like, okay, I did it. Now, what I didn't realize is like what most people don't realize right before they get married. Hold on. It all goes together. And so when people, are thinking about, oh, I love that person, I'm going to get married, they're thinking about the wedding day. And they're planning, they're picking out the colors, they're inviting who's going to be there. There's a march, there's a cadence, everything's organized, the vision is there, especially when this goes for women. It's like, okay, it's going to happen like this. I'm going to walk in like this, and my dress is going to be flowing like this. And the guy's just like, I'm going to stand there like this, and so the vision of, this is what's going to be, and everything normally works out perfectly because it's a very good plan. The problem is, after that, there's no plan for the marriage. There's nothing like, what is our purpose going to be together, separately? How are we going to operate? Most of the time, that's not there. And unfortunately, that's the most important part. It's the marriage. The wedding is a day, and, the marriage is for life. So when you're thinking about relocating, I'm a fire, and when I get to that date, and I'm going to hit those numbers, I'm going to move to this place. You're getting these dates and you're getting this plan, and it's very good, and you will probably hit it, especially if you made some of the suggestions that I've made in my other videos. But your enjoyment of the actual fire may be disappointing, because most people don't actually have a real vision. They have a vacation in mind, and a vacation, like all vacations, are meant to end. And so when you stay in vacation mode too long, then things start to fall apart, because it's like, okay, in your vacation, it's just for relaxing, chilling, and enjoying, but there's no purpose. There's no substance to it. It's actually, supposed to be a break. But when you try to make that your lifestyle, things can go bad. Things can go bad pretty quickly. And so in order to not do that, I want you guys to learn a few, lessons and tips and strategies that will actually help you on the way. Now, and again, if this is resonating with you, I want you guys to listen to the very end, because all this goes together to actually help you. And there's actually more. I probably will do another video on this, but there's all this stuff goes together to help you on your journey. And so you want to watch to the very, very end. So getting to the point that I think is really important, and it was really important for me, it was reclaiming your identity. And it's like, Keanon, what are you talking about? Why is that here? Well, the reason is, when you're like, okay, I'm going to fire, I'm going to do all this. I worked in corporate. I deserve it. Your identity is, okay, if you don't realize it or not, especially if you're for corporate, you've done stuff in IT or a field like it where it's like very demanding, and you became the man or you became the woman. And it's like, yeah, and it's funny. I got all these friends like that. They're like, I am the person of this. You introduce yourself, especially people that live in certain states. You introduce yourself by what you do. That is who you are. But then now you don't do nothing. Are you nothing? And so you're like, that bothers you. You don't think that will hit you, but it's like you can't say I'm the CEO or the VP of this department. I do nothing. I retired. Yeah, you can say I've retired myself. That kind of goes a little bit, but really, who are you? And so there's no identity. And you find yourself like, okay, that's not a good place to be in, because now that's messing with everything you are. There's no more success. There's nothing, no more challenges to do. There's nobody pushing you. There's no one setting goals and doing year-end reviews and all that, well, you might have hated during the time. It's like, well, that kept you on track. There was a vision, there was a plan, there was a team camaraderie, there was a celebration when you did it a lot of times, and you don't have that anymore. So where's your identity? And for me, relaxing was cool, but it was like, I don't have an identity. Who am I now? I know who I was. I can say it like it's in the past, but I'm in my 40s. It's not like, this was when I was a youngster. No, I am in my 40s. I got plenty of life ahead of me, God, willing. And it's like, I just can't keep saying what I was. And so I had to realize, for me, being a Christian was my identity couldn't be in my successes. It couldn't be in my failures. It couldn't be in how I did well on the job or not, or a good father, or a good husband, and whatever it is. It had to be, in Christ. And so this was very important of reclaiming my identity and attaching it to someone that it was not going to waver, because attaching it to success and failures, as you'll see, no matter how you perceive it, like, I clean my house good. Well, tomorrow's dirty. I'm not doing so. I'm a failure. No, whatever it is, it cannot be attached to that. And so reclaiming your identity is very, very important. And so if you're listening and resonating to what we're talking about, I want you guys to click the link below, because these are some of the things and stumbling blocks that you'll have to deal with. It can beforehand is a good deal with before, because I learned all this, through the school of hard knocks, by putting tools underneath your belt so that you can proceed to, fire or get to fire and do it the right way, that you can even potentially, move abroad. So I want you guys to click the link below, and we're going to jump into the next point. So the next thing is, doing nothing is not the answer. So when you are like, okay, trying to figure out, okay, I'm just going to get to retire. And when I retire, it's going to be, almost nothing. I mean, yeah, it's vacation we're going to see that and we're going to see that. But it's really nothing. It's just, their experiences. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. You definitely should do it. But then if that's all you got, then it's kind of nothing. It doesn't have any substance. You didn't create the volcano. Yeah, you saw it. You didn't create the beach. Yeah, you saw it. But, you creating experiences. That's great. But you really need to have a godly purpose. So you need to be able to see a godly purpose. And so that is a thing that where you are, you're going to have to, which we're going to move into the next point, because it's actually all connected into one. It actually made me these points, very similar, because they were so important. It's going to be about working on your relationship with God. And that is something that may slip through the cracks when you guys move to a different country. So when you go to a different country, you don't have your church home, and you're like, okay, how do I connect? It's a different language potentially, and it's like, what do I do? And it's like, well, you still need to work on your relationship with God. And so that means praying about your purpose, praying about what you should do, praying, how relationships you should get in, but also showing gratitude. One of the things I had to do, especially during my situation of, separation and staying in the unknown, was showing gratitude. Like, look at all this. I even had to switch. There is a literal toucan. The things that are on the cereal box? It is literally sitting in the tree. I just noticed it. And if I move the camera, I'm going to have to readjust. So sorry, guys, you can't see it. Things are big. But thank you, Lord, for letting me see that. Gratitude, it's not, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. Where's the next iPhone, or where's the next, iWatch? No, I have gratitude for all this, because I'm in the place that I wanted to be in. and I'm in the place that I prayed about. And so it's like, if you don't show gratitude, then all this stuff, even the beach gets old. It's like, it's just water. No, it's like, I am grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be, in a place that matches me. Now, this is not for everybody, but it's a place that is good for me. And it allows me to, honestly, when I look at nature, and this always happens, even in the States, it's like, I think, oh, wow, God is amazing. Look how wonderful he made, this green versus the other green that's behind me. He's an artist. And so that brings me joy. There's a plant that my mom's doing. Oh, never mind. That brings me joy to know, the things that I can be grateful for. And, of course, breath and things like that. Worship is a very important. You think these things don't matter, but they really do, because your spiritual life, when you're, especially after you fire, you're like, oh, I don't have anything to distract me now. Well, yeah, you need to be focusing on the right things and getting your spiritual life. If it's not right, or if it is right, it needs to be maintained with worship, reading the Bible, and just kind of keeping all these things like intact. And seeing hearing the word. So whether that means that you have to start out, because you gotta, I've always pressed, go to the local church first. But if you're like, okay, I feel the spirit, I got the community, but I'm not getting any word, go to something online and do both. Get your message, pray, see if that's the church virtual online, while you're getting the understanding of the local church, but you're also getting the community of the local church, which is an awesome place to start, especially if there's a language barrier, because now you have someone, which is Jesus, in common, that you can actually, start to bridge some of those gaps and barriers with. And so this is very important. So that brings us to the question of the day is, how do you envision, the person that you want to be? Because this is all something about, like, not just habits and things like that, but these are, how do you envision yourself, being after you fire, and what does it really look like? And I want you to comment below, and give it more thought than I'm just going to relax at the beach, but give it some thought. So I want you guys to comment below. And so the next tip that I'm going to have is create a vision. And I know people have vision boards. If that works for you, go ahead. But whatever works for you, whatever tools you want to create a vision, because probably for so long, someone's created a vision for you. It's like, if you go to work, you'll be able to climb the ladder, and one day you'll be, the senior manager over this department. And then one day after that, you'll be the VP director over this. And hopefully one day after everybody goes, you'll be the only one to be the CEO. That was, that's the American dream, climbing the ladder. And so you need to actually have your own vision. And honestly, if you're on the fire journey, you probably do have somewhat of it. And I want you guys to continue to work on it. And because it doesn't go away once you get here. You need to change, modify, different things like that. And so what goes along with that would be the other point of that is, when you have a vision, you have plans, you have dates. True plans need to use a SMART technique, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relatable, and time bound. And you're now your own boss. You've had all those things when you were working, and it was like, okay, you need to achieve such and such by this date. You now need to do that for yourself. So for me, retirement wasn't the end. It was a transition, and it was a transition into freedom to be able to live my own dreams. Now, my own dreams is not sitting around doing nothing. My own dreams are like connecting the nations. What can I do to help the Costa Rica environment? Because that's where I feel like God has placed me right now. And I don't mean environment like this, because I think they do a great job for the most part, more than I would understand. I have a lot to learn from them, but figuring out how to connect that stuff, that actually this is just a perfect example of, the United States needs to do this. These, Costa Rican people are clean energy, very little petroleum except in cars, stuff is, they even use the, energy from the volcano. And I know we don't have that many volcanoes in the United States that I know about, but they're on that type of clean system type of thing. And so understanding that, learning the language, bringing that stuff together. If you saw my other video, I talk about, connecting certain churches, getting to that point, you're seeing like-minded people. And so, connecting businesses, technologies, these are the thoughts that, that I want to do. And so retirement is like not the end. It's like the beginning to actually pursue all of that and to begin to make this, a help, be another part of the people that are helping to make this a better world, better place. And so those are, my ambitions and my dreams. And so that things, when I plan them out, they need dates. Like, how am I going to connect to this? And think, when am I going to do that? I have a lot of things in my life that don't have dates. I'm like, they are just still sitting on my board. They're not getting done. It's like, they don't have dates. They're not specific. They're not measurable. It's like, I got to do all of that. And so, yes, me too, growing, learning in that area. And those are things that I need to do. And then finally, like I said, this all comes together. This really comes together in this particular point is don't just do stuff. Don't just create habits, but actually be the person that you want to be. Like my dream, part of my dream is being the CEO. I used to just say a businessman, but a lot of times that connotation goes into someone who essentially created a job and called themselves the boss, and now they're working for themselves. And yay, that's great. But if they're not there, it all shuts down. No, I want to be able to build systems and run companies. Put things together that will actually benefit not just myself, but other individuals, again, across nations, internationally. And so that is part of my vision. And so that for me, when I'm saying I'm a CEO, well, what would a CEO do? Well, he would stay up on books, knowledge, information, different things that I'm interested in. And so, yeah, that's what I do. That's what I want. That's what I do. And that's what I recommend you to do. Not just create good ideas and habits, but do things that are going to be the person that you're going to be. And even though I haven't mentioned it, it's like I'm not only going to be CEO, I want to be in good health. So it's about eating, exercise, everything. And so those are the things that kind of help you get along your journey. So I want you guys, if you haven't already, click the link below. I want to give you some tools that'll help you on your journey, especially if you guys, are trying to fire, ready to relocate, looking for a better life outside the U.S. I want you to actually click the link below, and I will see you on the other side.